Hi there, this is my list of top 10 albums. As I said in one of my previous videos, everything is on Facebook, it's all posted. This is my favourite 10. Please don't comment. Well, I prefer comments. The first one on my list is called Denim and Leather. It was by Saxon. In those days I was a headbanger. I do remember saving up my cash, less than a fiver, I seem to vaguely remember, but going off to a record store in Bracknell and buying this album, then bringing it home and playing it, probably annoying my parents. The second album on my list is Queen's Greatest Hits. Why I've put it on my list is, well, it was probably the second or third album I ever bought, but also I'd listened to Queen on Top of the Pops but earlier, and there's a few songs that I liked. But I sort of got myself into Queen from then on, and those who know me know that I was a massive Queen fan in the 80s and 90s, and I've seen and saw Queen at Knebworth. This obviously predates Knebworth, and I bought every Queen album up to Made in Heaven, which is the sort of a mixture of all things that post Freddie Mercury's death. The third album on my list is Meat Loaf, Bat Out of Hell. Now, for those who are too young to know, Bat Out of Hell stayed in the album charts for many, many years. Originally was released in 1977, and my memories of listening to this at the local youth club. The fourth album on my list is a little bit more modern. It's Fratelli's, and it's called Costello Music. I heard a few snips of the song on an advert on the TV, and I got Carol, my wife, to buy it for me. Really love it, and I've obviously got a few more of their albums as well, but that's my introduction to Fratelli's. The fifth album on my list is Sgt. Pepper. Well, I was about 1 when Sgt. Pepper came out, but I bought this one in 87, roughly around the time when I met Carol, my wife. My next album is Graceland by Paul Simon. Just the furore of the fact that someone would go over to South Africa and record music with black musicians during the apartheid era sort of divided the music world. But my memories of this album are that I bought it on tape, cassette tape, and I listened to it on my Sony Walkman, or I probably didn't have a Sony Walkman, probably a Boots own brand one, but listening to it all on the way home and then having to buy new batteries to listen to it again. None of this MP3 or even your phone these days. Anyway, I do have this album on my Spotify now. The next album on my list is Parallel Lines by Blondie. Parallel Lines, gosh, that album has got so many songs on it, but basically Heart of Glass and Sunday Girl, they were the sort of two famous songs from that time, and everyone was in love with Debbie Harry. My next album is an album called American Fool by John Cougar, who's often known now as John Mellencamp or John Cougar Mellencamp. I saw this song, Jack and Diane, and subsequently I bought the album. I've got it on CD, and I also have it on Spotify as well. But it was sort of just my introduction to American sort of rock and music along the way. My next album was Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. This album, I remember when I was living in a nurse's home in Windsor, and my friend, he had this on tape, and we would play this constantly, and windows open, driving around Windsor and various other parts of Berkshire. My sort of introduction to more recent pop at the time, 1986, 87. The next album on my list is slightly more modern. It's actually by someone called Dave Hansen, who a friend of mine knows and sponsors his album. The album is called Almost Horizontal. When I went to see him, we met him afterwards, and he had copies of his CD. I've got his latest album and T-shirts, etc. from him. So it's all good. I enjoy it. It's more, it's again more up to date rock.